Republic of Karakalpakstan and Uzbekistan is defined by environmental extremes. Here, cracked earth and a lack of surface water make sustained settlement seem improbable. Yet outside the village of Taza Klimar is Koi Krylgan Kala. From the air, the site appears as a massive, intentional silhouette dominating its isolated plateau. This presents an immediate historical puzzle. Built in the 4th century BC by the Chorasmian dynasty, the site represents a scale of construction that typically requires a massive, stable water supply, something this region currently lacks. While experts initially classified the site as a royal burial ground, the discovery of a high-rise central structure and specific architectural alignments suggests a more complex role, involving both the stars and the surrounding landscape. To understand how these ruins functioned in such a hostile environment, we have to look at the specific engineering that made their construction possible. The layout follows a rigid geometric plan, a fortified outer wall 87 meters in diameter, and an inner structure 43 meters across. Along the perimeter, architects integrated 9 fortified towers to anchor the defensive wall. This level of geometric precision is rare for the region and the era. This makes the site a focal point for researchers trying to distinguish the actual architectural intent from the folklore that often surrounds such anomalous shapes. Understanding the purpose behind this geometry requires reverse engineering the environmental lifeblood that allowed the Khwarezmian people to build here. In ancient times, the geography of the Oxus Delta was significantly different. Before the region became the arid wasteland seen today, it was characterized by more frequent, though seasonal, water flows. The Khwarezmian dynasty transformed this landscape through large-scale irrigation projects. By terraforming the delta, they turned once waterless regions into viable agricultural centers capable of supporting massive stone and mud brick projects. This was made possible by a network of man-made canals. These channels transported water from the river arteries directly to this isolated ceremonial center, providing the resources necessary for both the builders and the residents. The site functioned in tandem with Toprak Kala, a palace city 30 kilometers to the northwest. This connection suggests that Koi Krylgan Kala was part of a larger, coordinated regional network that relied on shared hydraulic infrastructure. Mastering regional hydraulics was the foundation of the site. Without the constant influx of water through these canals, its scientific and religious functions would have been impossible to maintain. Over time, the purpose of the 43-meter inner circle evolved. What began as a royal burial ground was built upward into a high-rise structure that functioned as an active celestial observatory. Within the ruins, experts recovered an astrolabe and other instruments used for observing the night sky. This proves the central structure was used to track the sun and celestial features with calculated accuracy. The architecture itself was aligned to these observations. The complex was divided into distinct quadrants, each serving a specific astronomical or religious function. The eastern and southern quadrants were built to honor the sun god, Sivar, tracking solar cycles throughout the year. In contrast, the western part aligned with the goddess Anahita, deity of water, reflecting a dual focus on the cosmos and physical survival. Priests and astronomers utilized the central high-rise to calibrate these dual alignments, using the entire site to synchronize their calendar with the natural world. This setup was the ultimate expression of Khwarezmian culture, an architectural system where water management met celestial mechanics. This stability was broken around 200 BC. The site was attacked and destroyed by the Apasaka, a nomadic tribe that moved through the Delta region. During this period, the site's primary functions as a temple and observatory were dismantled, ending its era as a purely ceremonial and scientific center. It was later rebuilt, but its role changed. In the second phase, the complex served a dual purpose as a settlement and a fortified military outpost, remaining in use until roughly 400 AD. The final abandonment was likely triggered by the failure of the irrigation network. When the man-made canals dried up, the site became as isolated and uninhabitable as the desert surrounding it. The collapse illustrates a fundamental rule of this landscape. When the hydraulic system fails, even the most advanced structures are eventually reclaimed by the environment. For centuries, the ruins lay buried under the sand. Because this circular mound remained a visible landmark, it became the subject of local myths, though its true origins were forgotten by the people living nearby. This changed in 1938, when Sergei Toltov rediscovered the site. Major excavations followed in the 1950s, with teams working to expose the large sections of mud brick wall that had been hidden for over a millennium. Excavators recovered a dense collection of terracotta figurines, including figures of horses, sculptures of monkeys and griffins, and the goddess Anahita, which linked the site's usage directly to the specific religious traditions of the Khwarezmian dynasty. They also found martial artifacts, such as vessels decorated with mounted warriors. These items reflect the site's later transition into a fortress and its ongoing interaction with the nomadic tribes of the steppe. These artifacts provide the only physical link to the site's actual history, separating the archaeological reality from the modern theories that ignore the cultural context of the region. Today, the state of the ruins is a cause for concern. Since the major excavations of the mid-20th century, the site has suffered from rapid physical deterioration. Exposure to the elements has caused severe erosion. Without the protection of the sand that buried it for centuries, the mud brick architecture is literally turning back into dust. This natural decay is accelerated by human activity. Local populations have been known to recycle the ancient mud bricks, stripping the site to provide materials for modern buildings. The loss of these structures means the loss of critical engineering data. Every wall that crumbles takes with it another piece of evidence regarding how the Khwarezmian people managed their environment. The ruins of Koi Krylgan Kala illustrate the lifespan of a system that functioned only as long as its math and its water held out. When those canals failed, the desert simply resumed its place.